cool. Living fast, we ain't slowing down. Always ready to turn heads around. Heel Shit Podcast, where the bad boys reign. Never following the norm, always causing pain.
What up, Heel Faction? Welcome back to Heel Shit. Why do we call it that? Because bad guys do heel shit. I'm Dark Chords, that's Draven Grimes, and Draven, will you introduce this gentleman here, please?
This gentleman here.
That gentleman there.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know who this man is by now, you have been living under a rock for the last 15 years of your lives. Ladies and gentlemen, he's been known by many names. The intellectual savior of the masses, the greatest stunt double of all time. Whether you know him as Damien Sandow, Damien Mizdow, Aron Rex, ladies and gentlemen, Aron Stevens. Aron, welcome, my brother.
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me.
Pleasure. So, usually when we do interviews with some famous wrestlers, so to speak, I don't try to.
Thank you.
Look, there was a good 3 years where I hated your guts entirely, even though you were a worker. So you did something right.
I did my job, and there's no higher compliment you could pay me. You know, I wasn't sure what kind of a show this was going to be, but I'm like, oh, okay, cool. You guys are.
Yeah, we're both workers. He's been doing this for about 5 years. I've been doing this for about 15, so you're good.
Right on.
So, like I was saying, when we do interviews like this, I don't try to ask the usual suspected questions. I try to get to know more of the person, more than just the superstar. But obviously, there's a couple of them that we got to ask. So let's go ahead and just get this started. Looking back on your WWE career, especially your run as the intellectual savior of the masses, and later Mizdow and everything else that came afterward, what aspects of those characters were most authentically you? Which parts were purely performance? Which parts, you had to kind of fake it till you make it? But which parts were which was Aron?
Okay, so again, to be perfectly honest, right? Like, I do things a little different in terms of my performance and how I gauge myself, and then kind of the whole process of the performance itself. The intellectual savior was something I found out from Vince, like the night of, like I was going through the curtains. He's like, "Yeah, you're the intellectual savior of the masses." I'm like, "Well, okay, so I guess I better learn a couple, $5-6 words, as they say." So yeah, what was $5, but $6 with inflation and everything. So,
Right.
But here's the thing, and this is in wrestling. What I don't know, I see a lot of now, and it kind of breaks my heart a little bit. When I'm out there for the people. They're the paying customer, right? I mean, right, like any of us.
Yes.
Right. Anytime we go through the curtain, anytime we perform, whether it's a podcast, in the ring, I mean, you are going out there to give people their money's worth, and to hopefully get yourself over, as they say, so you can continue doing it. And I just do this thing where, like, as far as character stuff, like, I was okay, maybe I'll do a cartwheel, maybe I'll do this, but like the stand up, like holding the mic like a wine glass. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yes.
Oh no, we just lost the we just lost the light gimmick. Am I still okay?
Yeah, you're good, brother.
My cheekbones okay?
Oh yeah, perfect.
But no, the interesting thing is, like, we just have to go out there and do it for them, right? And that means kind of putting your own ego in your pocket.
Yes.
And just slipping into someone else. Like my standout character, like the cartwheel, yeah, that was a tribute to the Genius, right? Another intellectual, right? So that was kind of just a little thing for the past, but like, no, the pink and purple knee pads, that was my idea. And then just kind of how I worked the character in ring. But then, okay, if I had to be smart and that was my mission, okay, I'm going to figure it out, because if I am my character, right, and I can meld the two, and we get inspiration in life from all people, right? Like what I think a pompous intellectual would be. That's formulated by my experience in this world, right? Whether it's movies, TV, personal interactions with college professors, and I had a few professors like that.
Right.
And then just kind of throughout your travels. So, like, we all have this weird archetypal image of what we think, a certain character should be, what resonates with us. And I think it's trusting that truly, just to go out and let it happen. And it is a very lackadaisical approach. I mean, you're spending hours trying to like force a character,
Mhm.
it's not going to work. Or at least, you know what? If the boss wants it to work and puts it on TV every week and makes you the champion, then you could, I guess, say it worked, depending on the company, or whatever. But resonate with the fan. No, like, not going to work because you have to bring your authentic self to whatever character you're doing, right? And then toss in having absolutely no shame and sprinkle in a little trauma in there. And I'm sure that that's all part of the ingredient. So I'm kidding, but that's it. Does that answer your question? Because I know that wasn't a regular answer. So if you can ask me these straight questions, man. I'm out there enough where you'll probably get some off the wall stuff. But
No, that's the kind of stuff I like when I do these kind of interviews. I don't want like the mundane answers. I don't want the norm. I want the real you. I don't want some gimmick that everybody knows you as. I want to know who Aron Stevens is, the person. So that was phenomenal. I love that. So after stepping away from WWE, you seem to take time to explore life outside of the wrestling business. How did that shift in your lifestyle and identity affect you personally? And what did you learn about yourself in that period?
That is a very good. That's probably the best question anyone's ever asked me, and I'm not kidding.
Thank you.
It's funny, like in those periods in life when we have like several circumstances change, right? Like we're going to be starting a new job or leaving a job. We're going to be going into a new town or whatever, which I ended up in Malibu, which was absolutely insane. And yeah, like just the people I met there. I mean, I met this crazy woman who I love. I mean, I absolutely love. Her name's Sherman, and she's old school Hollywood. Pretty much said, I'm in charge of your career, because I had kind of my own experience with a management company,
Mm-hmm.
and hey, it wasn't working out, let's say. And so Sherman says okay, and got me in SAG and like did all this stuff. But she was so old school Hollywood. It's funny, if I had to compare it to wrestling, she'd be like the Lou Theszes, right? And so like she had her way of like how to approach acting, and that was really good. I was able to get around a lot of very intelligent people. People like just very high level Hollywood people in just very casual conversation. And that was very interesting to be able to talk to those people and see how they do things, from setting things up, like, how to do a production. And, for example, like now NWA, it helps me kind of with that. Because when you're around some of these minds, so you get a very different perspective on the entertainment business that way. Before, it was just like, okay, make sure the hair's good, tan, check, and go. But I gained a respect for the production side of things, and actually like stepping away from wrestling. It was what I needed to do at the time, because I just needed a break, and it wasn't anything physical by any means. It was very much like more of, I guess, a mental kind of detox from it.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
And like anything, right? Like Impact, it was fine, and then management changed. So like, okay, this is not going to work out to where both parties are happy. So, hey, respectfully, peace out, and there's no heat or anything like that by any means. It was just, it was just really, it was a blessing to have, if I'm being honest. And then when I was able to come back to NWA, there was such a, kind of like a reinvigoration. And there are a number of things that I can attribute that to. But yeah, that's pretty much, I guess, my takeaways.
Right. So you mentioned your time in Impact TNA, and you've mentioned going into the NWA. This business of ours demands constant reinvention, whether it's physically, mentally, or creatively. How did you approach the reinvention of every gimmick, going from being the intellectual savior, go into the stunt double, go into kind of a hybrid character of the two, bringing the comedy from one but the seriousness of the other into that, stepping away and then coming into Impact at that time. How did how did you approach all of that?
One day at a time. And that's the reality where, look, if you know how to do this, and again, I was blessed with, in my opinion, the best teachers on the planet. And I paid attention, and you'll always kind of like see the forest for the trees, right? So
Right.
it's a lot of people, they approach it, it's all me, 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 and what am I doing? And I don't want to do this gimmick. I don't want to do this, that, or the other thing. So I'm like, okay, and I go through all that too, believe me. But I'm also like, okay, now I have to step out of me. What does the company want? What does the like, audience for like, right? It's a you have to ask the bigger questions, right? And then when you do that, you're able to almost get like an eagle eye view, right? You can see more of the bigger picture, and from there, um, I just let it happen. Like the Liberace thing, which was not done correctly to this day. It wasn't handled correctly. They were not supposed to produce me too much, and someone who I love got a job there as a producer and got a little too much into it as opposed to letting me just do my thing.
Right.
But that's again water under the bridge. That's the business. They, new administration, so it's fine. And I don't hold that against him, right? It's just like it was what it was. And it did work to a degree in terms of the kind of heat it got. And it's when other people started kind of giving their opinions, it's like, let this happen, please. I have a pretty good track record. So look, it was what it was. I did the most, and then eventually, like I said, like anything else, wasn't working out. So respectfully, you peace out. Go to LA, do the thing there, and yeah, that's pretty much how that happened. I mean, again, it was a very fun gimmick. Absolutely loved working with Spud. We always kind of like, God, what could have been with that? But
Right.
you just have to kind of understand it. And I really don't take things that personally, because it is all flavors of ice cream.
Mhm.
And like one of the things I have always just said is like, okay, I don't care if you can criticize any aspect of my career you want, right? That's absolutely fine. And there's a lot of opinions there, right? Like, and you can have, again, flavors of ice cream. Some people like Sandow, some people like Mizdow, any other character, the Macho Mandow, whatever. But the audience was always engaged when they heard my music and when I was out there. There was never a time when they weren't. And again, I've done 3 segment matches for the world title, pay-per-view stuff. I mean, I got to main event MSG house show, which was cool. So I can say I main evented the Garden. Yeah, like that's all cool. But what's more cool is that, to this day, it's weird. People still remember me if I don't shave, and things like that. Like they'll recognize me and everything because I can kind of do the whole shapeshifter thing.
Yep.
But no, it's very nice, and that's real, right? Like it was a very real relationship I had, and actually am fortunate enough now and blessed enough to continue to have with wrestling fans. Where boo me, cuss me out, do what you will. It's just if you're doing your thing, I will, as always, give you everything I have out there.
Very nice. And you kind of touched on this, but I just want a little bit more of a detailed answer. So in your career, you had moments of great crowd connection and moments of frustration on camera. How do you balance the pride in your successes with the peace over the things that you couldn't control?
Eventually, you just reach a point where you've had enough, right? And when you reach a point, like like the poem, 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, right? Or okay, you've come to this point where you are now like the pot is now boiling over, right? For lack of a better word.
Right.
You're frustrated. You're that like, what are you going to do? And I was raised to have respect, and I do, but at the end of the day, like I'm not going to bend my knee or kiss someone's rear end for lack of a better word, when I know my track record. I have, every time I did media for the company, and I would keep track of this, more people showed up to the building, right, for TVs when we used to go do the morning shows and everything like that. Don't fail drug tests.
Yeah.
Never been a problem or anything like that overseas. Seemingly gets along with everybody. And okay, like the reaction I get is what it is. I remember one time I was off TV for like 6 months, and they put me out there in a 6-man tag for Rumble. I think it was pre-show. And I'm not trying to sound whatever. And if they hadn't taken the Krausoids out, any of you guys saw it there. I don't know. It was in Orlando, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They were chanting Sandow the whole match. And the last WrestleMania I did, when they told me not to have personality, when it was Joe and Shaq were squaring up, and I slid in the ring and said, "Yeah, don't have personality on this. This isn't about you. This isn't about you." And I was like, "Huh? And then people started to come up. Shaq threw me out, and they booed Shaq. So, okay, like there's nothing I can control,
Right.
past that. And now being able to control 100,000 people, which is kind of like, seemingly handcuffed, but if you put me on camera, I'll find a way.
Right.
Right.
And that's it. Like that's all it is. So
I think your camera for us froze, so just give me 1 second.
No.
Oh, it did. There we go.
All right. Should be good.
how are you?
Should be good.
Yep.
All right. So tell me, as you were growing up, when did you start becoming a wrestling fan? And I guess that camera is just going to be a pain in the ass. So we're still
Try
here.
to go out where I can get a better signal.
No,
No, you're perfectly fine.
you're
bro.
perfectly fine. It's you seeing us that may be an issue, but we're still here. We can still talk, and I'll fix it in a bit. When did you become a wrestling fan, and like who were your idols growing up?
5 years old, I played an arcade game, lost, got pissed off, said I was going to be a wrestler, and that was it. That's
Nice.
the sort of it. I was a big Steamboat fan, big Ricky Steamboat fan. Of course, R.I.P. Hulk was my guy for a long time. As I got into it, Shawn Michaels, of course, was he was really like, I remember like high school, like he was the guy. Or yeah, like no, because I graduated not like Stone Cold was the guy in high school. Shawn was more like middle school,
Right.
early high school. And but yeah, that was just it was a great time because I got like the back end of the 80s with the Hogan boom. I remember, in my opinion, one of the most slept on main events in history is Hogan versus Slaughter, WrestleMania 6.
Yes.
Great match.
Like,
absolutely.
oh my God. And then the repercussions of like what it was in society and Slaughter getting death threats. I mean, it was such a great time to be alive, really. Like when, society wasn't as uptight as they are, and you could get away with a lot more on TV.
Right.
And now, again, and look, changes just happen, right? They're neither bad nor good. They just are. And it's what you do with them. And I think if you're creative enough, yes, we can still have that level today. It's just, I think a lot of the talent needs to start understanding that you work for the people, not for your own Instagram highlight reel.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned playing a video game because we're pretty close to the same age. And I remember going to the bowling alley and just dumping quarter after quarter into the WWF game. It was the hokey graphics. And there's only like 6 different characters in the
Earthquake,
game.
though, right?
Huh?
Like Earthquake, LOD, that one,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Wasted so much of my grandmother's money in that playing that
That's
video.
funny.
Jesus.
That's funny.
Jesus. So, we appreciate your time. As always, I know you're a very busy man. You got many things going on, including selling your house. Good luck with that, by the way.
Yeah.
But I always close an interview out with the same question, and it's more of me just being nosy, so to speak, because I just want to see what everybody's answer is.
Oh, sure.
If you could speak to your younger self, like first started training, green as hell, took your first couple back bumps, said, ow, that shit hurts. If you could speak to that guy
Mhm.
and you could just have a 5-minute conversation with him, what would it be?
Join the military.
That's a first. That's a first.
I guess I would just tell myself to enjoy it a little more, just take it day by day and not look at what's next so much. And just take every day in and tell your friends you love them, because the dark side of this is you lose so many people that you're close to, and it's you're with each other every day, and then you're not with each other every day, but the bond never goes away, and it's like when you do see each other, it means something, and I guess I wish I would have just kind of soaked in those times more.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a big one.
Very nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
that's heavy but good advice.
It is. It is. Well, Aron, we thank you for your time. We greatly appreciate it. You want to give a shout out where everybody can find you on your socials real quick?
Sure thing. You can go on Instagram at the Aron Files, TEARON Files, and X, formerly known as Twitter, on Aron's Thoughts, ARONS Thoughts. And you guys have been great. You've asked some very, very good questions. Like, you guys stand out as interviewers.
I try to. I do my best.
Thank you so much. That means a lot.
All right.
That means a lot. Hopefully you'll come back one day and we'll do this again.
Absolutely. I'd be honored. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, for Draven Grimes and our great guest, Damien Sandow, I'm Dark Chords. This has been Heel Shit. Why do we call it that? Because bad guys do heel shit. Peace.
Heel Shit Podcast, where the